Hey, what's up guys? This is Jeff with Gamestork, and let's take a look at the latest news. Gamestork, delivering news, reviews, and playthroughs like a newborn baby. So first, there's some good news coming in with Namco Museum about Pac-Man Versus. Now, I know a lot of people have said, Pac-Man Versus makes a lot more sense on the Wii U because of the dual screens and things like that. Well, Nintendo has taken steps in order to fix this. What they've done is made download play available for Namco Museum via the eShop just for Pac-Man Versus. Now, what this means is that the person who purchased the game can invite their friend over who also has a Switch, and on one console play as Pac-Man, and on the other console, without having to purchase the game, play as the three ghosts on the other Switch, which is really, really awesome. That means only one person has to purchase the game, and the other person gets the free download off of the eShop, which to me is pretty sweet. This does away with the need to have to purchase two games, or really to complain at all about the online multiplayer aspect, or about the multiplayer aspect in general. Even though, the Wii does have dual screens, at least this way you can't cheat and look at the television or something like that. I think it'll wind up being a lot of fun. Next up, RIME was supposed to release this summer, and it looks like that's been pushed back to winter of this year. The reason why, I don't know, but the Nintendo Switch version is coming. It just seems that it's not going to come until winter of this year. Perhaps the team's having some issues porting. I don't really know, but I hope it does come. If you like running around shouting, statues of foxes to make them come alive and do different things, well, not really come alive, but just glow to open doors, you'll love this game. I also noticed an awesome indie game that is coming to the Nintendo Switch, and it looks really, really cool. And the name of this game is Next Up Hero. Now, in this game, you choose from 9 heroes with an assortment of weapons and abilities to suit your playstyle, from swords and rocket launchers to laser turrets, bongo drums, and boomerangs. Now, you can even steal monsters' attacks and use them as your own. No one said you had to, fight fair. But eventually, you will die. It's going to happen. But in Spiral Shards, every fallen hero leaves behind an echo, which can be called back to life by other heroes. Combine the echoes you raise from the ancients, epic allies who can deal massive damage or save you from the brink of defeat, and all your deaths will not be in vain. Now, earn prestige for every game that you play, with bonuses for epic monster slaying. Use your prestige to unlock the most powerful versions of your favorite heroes, for only the strongest heroes will be invited to the Champions Trials, your greatest challenge yet. So, this is coming in 2017. We don't know the exact release date, but Next Up Hero does look really solid. The art style is really cool. I really like the characters, and I also really like the concept. It looks like it's going to be really, really enjoyable. Now, next up, it has been announced that some ARMS DLC is coming. It may not be the character that you want to see or want to have or play as, but he's on his way. Max Brass, aka the Commish, joins the fight via a free update on July the 12th, which is right around the corner, and you'll be able to play as Max Brass, in case you've been wanting to do that. Right? It'd be cool if we could play this headlock. There's also another cool game I found called Thimbleweed Park, and this is kind of a point-and-click type game that looks really solid. Looks like a lot of fun. The new update that allowed the keyboard and mouse functionality with the Nintendo Switch really works with this, and it's going to make this game much more enjoyable, doable, unless it's also on the touchscreen, in which it seems like something that I would play just using the touchscreen. This game looks really cool. It looks really solid, and I can't wait to give it more of an opportunity and see what it's all about. I love indie games. I love trying new things, because you never know when you're going to find a gem out there among all these indie games that you just fall in love with. And more games, equals just more games, better experience with the console, all that cool stuff. And it's really, really, exciting to think about if you really get down to it. Now, as far as the Splatoon 2, I will do a video of that, kind of going over everything that was said and why I believe that, it really established itself as a new title, not just like a reiteration of the first game or DLC. The Splatoon 2 looks really great. Be sure to tune in this weekend as they're having the Splatfest, and it's free. You can play if you like. So be sure to go ahead and go on the eShop and download that so that you too can share in that and play. Now, there's another big question that's really out there as well, and that's where are all the third parties? There are a lot of Switch owners who are wondering this, and every time a dev begins to talk about this, it always comes down to the same thing. It's the install base. Once the install base grows to the point of, it being viable as far as business business model wise, for them to create something to put on the console, that means they'll put it on the console. But as of right now, the Switch doesn't have a big enough user base in order to justify bringing big AAA third-party games. Now, in the past, these third parties have taken chances to bring over their titles. Why have they done that? Because they were excited about the console and they believed in it. But the Wii U kind of ruined that, because a lot of third parties brought over their games, even though that might have been a little bit late and that hurt the sales, which we won't get in. Well, actually, yeah, we could get into that. If you're going to release a third-party game and you expect it to sell on a console, it should come out at the same time on the same day as the other versions of the game. And as a third-party developer, you have to realize that if you release a game 6 months behind the initial release of that game and just on a different console, it's not going to sell very well. If you want it to sell on that console and do well, you need to have that version ready, go and put it out on that console. And that applies, to the Switch. Just think about RIME being pushed back. You think that RIME's going to sell very well on the Switch? Well, in this case, it might, just because of how excited people are. But in generalities, a lot of people probably already played that on the PS4, and they're not going to want to jump over and repurchase the game. That's just something the developers need to get on it, need to finish it, and, make it work. So the ultimate answer to that question of where are the third parties is pretty much they're waiting on the install base. They're waiting on proof. They're like, show me that I can make money on the Nintendo Switch. We had like THQ Nordic come out and talk about pretty much that they wish that the Nintendo Switch, that Nintendo would have put more power or horsepower under the hood of it. And, let's face it, it's not as powerful as the PS4. It's certainly not, but it's also working on a mobile chipset. And that mobile chipset will eventually catch up. It's inevitable. It's eventually going to catch up to modern day stuff. But the fact is, Nintendo switching over to that shows their commitment to work with NVIDIA, use those specific chips, and in the future I can see them continuing on in this and pushing forward as far as that mobile chip is concerned, so that games can stay portable, stay mobile. To me, I believe that's awesome. And who wants something that's, just the same? If they just put out a box that's exactly the same as the other consoles, what good would that have done that company? I mean, seriously. We're already oversaturated with the same style of Western games and just the same presentation, the same thing, everything trying to go 4K. And don't get me wrong, it looks beautiful on the TV and all that, but it's like every game and every, the PlayStation, Xbox One, they're all shooting for like the same look, the same style, the same experience. And we just want something different. So it makes me really happy that Nintendo went and just did their own thing, and they made it to where, we had the Switch. It's very portable, it's very fun, and it's what we want to play. And it's different. It's something that's not the same as everything else in the market. And I really appreciate them for that. I don't think it's a bad thing at all that they did that. And the fact is, even, with my past videos saying that the Switch can play those games, it can. If the Wii U could do what it did, the Switch outperforms the Wii U, and games can look twice as good on the Nintendo Switch. It's only, basic logic that this is the truth, which means that those other games can be optimized. Any game can be optimized to run on the Nintendo Switch. Doesn't mean it's easy to get the engine up and running on there, like the RE engine for Resident Evil and stuff like that, but eventually it will happen. Eventually they'll get it figured out. They'll figure out shortcuts. A lot of these companies will go work with a Nintendo team that was put in place to help them port their games, and we'll start seeing it. But as far as, what I think, I just don't see a lot of big third-party games coming until, late 2018, and that's when we'll see it. Maybe E3 next year they'll announce a bunch of support, because at that point we'll see, the huge sales, at least 13 million as far as the Nintendo Switch goes, and we'll see a bunch of people jump on board. A bunch of third parties say, okay, well, I want a piece of that 13 million install base. Let's release our game, get it sold. And lastly today, speaking of games, there is a rumor, and I'm going to say this is a rumor because I had a few people sending me messages saying how wrong I was about everything, and everything they referenced was rumors that I've clearly labeled and said were rumors. And 2K18 for WWE is rumored to be coming for the Nintendo Switch extremely soon through GameStop. I'm not going to go in depth about this. I don't know a ton about those games. I haven't played wrestling in a while, and they're probably really good, but I just haven't played them in a while. So I will leave a link to that. Hopefully, we'll see a lot more of those type games coming out. Any and everything is good for the console. But if you like wrestling, it just might be on the way just for you. So anyway, that's going to do it for all these news updates. I just kind of did this one video encompassing all of them due to the fact that work has got this dude down. The man has been working, so I wanted to make sure that I got all these out today instead of individual videos. I'd rather do individual videos, that way you don't have to watch an entire video to get that one specific piece of news that you want, but that's okay. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like below. Also subscribe if you like what you're watching on this channel. Be sure to hit that bell, ring the bell down there if you'd like updates on all videos, and be sure to stay right here at Gamestork for all things Nintendo Switch and all things gaming, all things awesome. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching again, and we'll see you next time.